Okay, so first thing you're gonna need is a jar. Now, I've got a massive jar. I don't even know how big this is, but it's big. You do not need a jar this big. I would recommend the smaller size jar. Again, this one is 1.5 liters. So I would recommend one of these. That must mean that this is 2 or 3 liters. So this size jar is gonna be pretty much perfect. First thing you're gonna do is pop in your apple ciders. Now, they sell big gallon jugs of apple cider vinegar, which I almost opted for, but I actually went for the smaller bottles because I want to be gifting this, so I'm gonna use the smaller bottles. All right. So I'm gonna do just 2 of these to start, just so that when we put the stuff in, it's not all gonna stick to the bottom. It's kind of blinking at me. There we go. Okay, so let's just start with that. Woo! Smells wonderful. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside. And now I'm gonna start adding my ingredients. So I already peeled a couple of garlic cloves. So these little pieces are called the cloves. This is called a garlic head. I'm gonna do a whole one. We're doing a whole one here. Now I won't make you sit and watch me do that. And I'm not actually gonna cut them up very big. I'm gonna cut them up, very small. Maybe cut them into thirds, just so that there's more surface area. Pop it in. And you can't really see, but I'm throwing it into the jar over here. So I'm going to finish this up off camera and throw all of that in there. But I'll do that in a minute. Then I'm going to get my ginger out. And the same thing, you know, I don't mind the skins because we're going to strain it at the end anyway. So we just cut it up into pieces to increase the surface area. Increasing the surface area means that we're giving more space on the food that we're using for the fermentation process to happen. Oh my gosh, it's just getting all over me. Let's see if there's a way that you can see this as I do it. There. I'm gonna cut up some peppers. Try and remember not to touch my face after. All right, and I'll cut up the other one off camera as well. So things are gonna start just floating, and that's okay, that's good. At some point we're gonna do some stirring. Same thing with the lemon. Cut off any bits that look maybe unhealthy on them, but everything else looks pretty good. And we're using the rind, because the rind actually, the skin of the lemon has incredible amounts of vitamin C, maybe much more than the juice. I'm just gonna get some pieces. Pop those in. Whole thing's going in. And I know it sounds crazy, but we're going to use a whole onion as well. So for you who are doing the smaller amount, use what I'm saying here. I'm going to add more later to my big jar. So you're going to be using 1 to 2 lemons. If they're small, use 2. If they're big, use 1. Whole thing of garlic, whole onion. Now if it's a massive onion, like this one's really big, maybe like 3/4 of it. All right, and then still gonna use 2 of these. I'm gonna grab my cayenne. That's gonna be strong. And I'm probably gonna put in about 2 tablespoons of it. Now, if you like your food on the less spicy side, use less. But if you don't mind it, then go for it. Turmeric, I'm gonna do about 2 tablespoons as well. Right. Okay, I'm gonna, powder. I'm gonna pop my cinnamon sticks in, and then I'm actually gonna do another about tablespoon of cinnamon. Okay. So that's all that you are all adding, plus the honey. And then I'm gonna add the extra bits. Oh, sad that it comes with plastic. So then I'm gonna add 1/4 of a cup of honey, which is a lot of honey. Let's see. So the bacteria, the good bacteria, is actually going to feed on the honey. That's gonna be what they eat as they ferment, as they grow and do their bacteria fermenting process. Look how beautiful it is. Let me give you a, it looks kind of absolutely crazy in here, but it's gonna be delicious. Now I'm gonna add my extras. So if you don't have these on hand, again, you don't need to have these on hand, but if you are able to access them or grow this kind of thing in your own garden, or even on your windowsill, then I highly recommend putting it in. So I'm putting in my dock seeds. I'm gonna put in a significant amount because I love them. Gonna grab some rosemary. And you know, I'm not gonna wash it because I believe that this has the good microbes already on it. And remember, the fermentation process kind of makes it inhospitable, right? It's hard for the bad microbes to live in a acidic fermented environment. So that's why fermenting is amazing, because you can get the good bacteria without necessarily getting the bad. So I'm putting the plantain seeds in. They're kind of, now plantain is one of those that's native, and you'll be able to find this anywhere. So remember, it's a low-lying plant with big, broad green leaves and these stalks that just shoot up out of them. And I have plantain seeds everywhere. I'm a really messy cook, but I make good stuff. All right. I'm gonna do, that's it. All right, and then I'm gonna pop some of this lemon verbena in. I don't think I'll do too much of it because I didn't pick that much of it. I'm gonna get some oregano in there. Really easy way to get the pieces off quickly is just to hold and pull. It's like stripping it from the stalk. Now you can see here, my greens are above the liquid. So we want to make sure all of our stuff is gonna be below the liquid, but I also haven't put all my liquid in yet. All right, and then my lemon balm. Definitely want a good amount of lemon balm in here. Where is it all? I found it. All right, so I'm gonna keep filling it up and I'll show you the end result. Okay, so I have filled up the 1.5 liter and the 3 liter, and I'm going to stir because I want to make sure it's even. Now, a couple of things. You want to leave some space at the top. That's called headroom, so that that's where all the excess carbon dioxide from the fermentation process is gonna go. You're gonna have to burp this. You can leave, like we did with the carrots, a cloth over the top, and that's just fine. It needs to be able to breathe. Now with fire cider though, I like to close it, and for the first couple weeks, I like to burp it beep, every day. And then after maybe 2 weeks or so, I kind of either put a cloth over it, or I just, that's pretty much when most of the carbon dioxide is gonna be produced. And then for the next 4 weeks, I just kind of let it sit. So it's a 6-week process to make this. That's why we're starting now. You guys might be like, it's still September. Why are we doing flu season stuff? Well, because it's coming up, and we need to make sure that we've got enough time to make it, for it to be made. So, like I said, you're gonna burp it, once a day for about 2 weeks, and then you're gonna let it sit in a cool, dry place. So like a cupboard or your counter would be fine. At least as long as it's room temperature, not getting too hot, you're totally good. If for some reason you start to see a color change or like a scum on top that isn't white, then I would throw it away or compost it and start over. Now you want to make sure all your goods are underneath the liquid. So I've got all those dock seeds sitting on top, but I'm not super worried about that. But all my onions, all my leaves, all my garlic, all my everything is underneath the liquid. So I ended up only using 6 of those apple cider vinegar jars. So I think I did about 2 in this one and about 4 in this one. So I bought 4 extras, which I'll probably end up making a whole nother big batch and sharing it with those around me. So if it's something you enjoy, then you can make it and share with family and friends to keep them healthy too. Please email me if you have any questions about it. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it's great just to take straight, or you can use it in salad dressings, which is wonderful, or soups. All right, have fun. Bye. All right, let's pretend 6 weeks have passed. And what you're gonna do is you're going to take a strainer with the smallest holes you can find, or a cloth, like a cheesecloth, and you're going to strain your fermented liquid into a new bottle. That's why I kept those little bottles. So I'm going to strain it and pour it into those little bottles and then store it in my fridge for months and months and months to come. All right, enjoy.